What's going on, everybody? Rob A here, and today we're taking a look at Transformers Studio Series Grimlock. This is Studio Series number 7. This is the Leader Class version, or the second version of the Leader Class version of Grimlock from Transformers Age of Extinction. And man, does this guy instantly look like an improvement just even in the package here. First of all, I want to point out this package is stuffed. This dude, he's really big. I don't even want to say big for a leader class, because he's kind of, I would say, probably an average leader class size, but like an old school leader class size. They've actually got him kind of crooked legged inside the packaging so he can actually fit, which is pretty great. And his width is just the entire width of the package, like corner to corner. This guy's taking up the whole thing. The paint right off the bat is really, really nice looking. He's got this dark kind of gunmetal gray plastic with a very light silverish green metallic washed over it, and it just really, really picks out those details very, very nicely, and even just in the package looks absolutely incredible. So really, really looking forward to getting this guy out of the package. So let's take a look at the side here. You can see Grimlock in his dino mode. Very cool. And on the back it says, freed from his confines, Grimlock unleashes massive Dinobot force for 5 seconds. Transforms in 30 steps. Build the cast. You can see the other characters available in this line, Blackout and Starscream here. It comes with a Hong Kong Pursuit backdrop that you can display him on. And it says big screen inspired scale detail and backdrop. So very, very cool. Studio Series 7. This guy cost $50. And I picked him up on Amazon.com. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get this guy out of the package, and we're going to check him out right now. Alright guys, here we have Leader Class Grimlock Redux. And, you know, it's a decent dinosaur mode here. Certainly not without its flaws, but I do have to say, far and away better still than that first version of Leader Class Grimlock that we did get out of that Age of Extinction movie. So, taking a look at the figure, you can see that the color is just phenomenal. The paintwork is absolutely brilliant. He looks great. Like, his head is sculpted well. He's got big, huge, gnarly teeth. They are softer, rubbery plastic, but he's got them. He does have a little articulation. You can open that jaw up and, you know, get him to nom down on things. So that's pretty cool. His arms, his little T-Rex arms, are ball jointed, so those are articulated a little bit. And you can get a little swivel out of that head, so you can come in for the bite if you so desire. The tail, not so much articulation in the tail. Tail is a little strange. It's made up of many, many parts and looks a little weird. He's got this little flap that goes onto his back in robot mode, and there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just that, at least on my copy, it's not super tight. The joint is a little bit loose, so he ends up with a little bit of a butt flap problem going on there. Overall, the tail is okay, and it is made up of his robot mode hand, which is that big mace that you have probably seen in pictures, and unfortunately, no, his hand cannot come out of that. It is just this mace because it's used for the transformation. The legs are posable because they become the robot legs. You can twist those out, although the joint is very tight, so you're very likely to pop the transformation bit out, but not a big deal, not a huge deal at all. Of course, that way he's got some legs going on, or knees going on. He's got some swivel because that part down there for the feet is a ball joint, so you got that going on. So overall, pretty okay T-Rex mode. I'm certainly not going to display it in this mode, which is a bummer, but overall, not the worst thing in the world. It still looks pretty decent. And if you display it at the right angle, it looks fairly okay. Definitely, you know what? It's like, don't let me make you think that I think that it's terrible by any stretch, because it's really not. It's a very, very solid, it's a solid effort trying to get, this T-Rex into that robot mode is not that easy. Cannot possibly be that simple. And I think for the probably cost parameters that they had to work with, they did a really admirable job. So good on you. And again, it's a miles and miles ahead of that previous absolute trash pile that came out the first time around. So awesome work, guys. Very nicely done. So transformation wise, let's go ahead and get this guy transformed. I'm just going to pause the video for just a second, just so I can kind of refresh myself, and we'll be right back. Okay, so just before we start transformation, I do want to show off really quickly just how he looks next to other figures. This is MPM Bumblebee. Obviously, he's pretty small compared to them. I mean, he's a leader class figure, and he's the size of a leader class figure, but, as compared to a figure like this, he is a little bit small. However, or a lot small, I should say. The sad reality is this may be the closest we ever get to an MP version of this character. So here he is with MPM Prime. Obviously, Prime is quite a bit bigger. Cannot ride on his back, or at the very least, cannot ride on his back without it looking really silly. So that is a shame. But as I said in the Blackout review, if somebody comes along and makes like a scaled up version of this figure, I would totally pick it up. I wouldn't even hesitate. And hopefully they would at least put like a tab, down here or something to just tab that together and make my life a little bit easier, at least on that front. So alright, so first thing you want to do to transform this guy is we're going to come around to the back here. We are going to pull the dino legs out from the sides here. You can see this big old tab and this big old slot, and we're just going to do that on both sides. Big old tab, big old slot, just like that. You can see the big old slot right there. So that's going to be the first step. Then we're going to go ahead and move this kind of crotch panel out of the way. We're going to go ahead and bring these pieces down here, and it's going to work like kind of a puzzle piece. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that this whole armor piece that's on the side kind of comes in, and you can see how it's going to fit and kind of make a full piece with the crotch bit. And you're going to do that and go ahead, and then I'll show you from the other side. It's a little easier to see. You're going to go ahead, and this little hook piece is going to hook right into the bottom there once you got all that done. At least it should. There we go. Just like that. So that's one side. Hopefully I can get this done without too much trouble. We'll do this on the other side as well. And then we're going to hook these two pieces together, just like that. And then that should be it. Yeah, there you go. So that is the crotch panels all set. We're going to come down here to the dino knees, and we're just going to bust them out just like that. Those dino knees. I'm going to come out here and bust them out just like that. And they are a little bit, at least on mine at first, were super stiff when trying to get them out like that. This guy did not want to go in at all, but it's since loosened up, which is nice. They're nicely ratcheted, which is also nice. And we're going to come around here to the back of the legs. We're going to flip out the toe spurs like that. And then we're just going to rotate the feet around. And that is it for the dino legs. And then we can come back here and you see the crotch, or not the crotch piece, the tail flaps, and those just go out like so and form, the tail flaps, or the butt flap at this point. And there are Grimlock's legs, all done. ready to go. No problems. Okay. So, I mean, you could keep it like this if you really want to. It looks interesting. But you probably want to not do that. So we're going to go ahead and get the arms done here. So we're going to go ahead and the jaw on the T-Rex is actually going to come on down like so. Just like that. And then the fist is going to sneak out from underneath this part here. And then bring that out, and that's going to form the arm here. We can straighten this bit out. And then we're going to bring this panel up. If I can actually get this accomplished here. Let's see here. It splits. There we go. So that part is going to come up like here. And then we're just going to put that right there. And that is pretty much that arm. The T-Rex arms just kind of hang out there. They don't really do anything. But they do look greebly and, metally enough to not really be a problem. And then the T-Rex head just comes back here. And you can see there's this big old tab and this big old slot. You just want those two to hang out together like that. And there you have one shoulder done. Actually, it's probably wise to leave this shoulder not quite done just yet. Because what we want to do is actually take care of the head at this point. So this whole chest panel actually pulls forward. And in a like He-Man battle damage-esque thing, we're going to rotate this bit around to reveal Grimlock's robot head. And then we're going to go ahead and close this panel back up. And there you have Grimlock's robot head. And now we can go ahead and move this and peg it in because now that stuff is all done. Now on to the second arm. And we can actually at this point probably rotate around the waist here. This is really easy. We're just going to take the two halves of the T-Rex head on the tail and go ahead and just press those together. Bring the arm around here. Make sure this bit is out just like on this side. And then we're going to go ahead and take the tail bit. Let me fix the camera here. Take the tail, the tip of the tail, and we're just going to fold it up into the arm to form that big mace hand thing. And then last but certainly not least, go ahead and bring this up again. Last but not least, we're going to go ahead and bring up that head crest bit. And there we have Grimlock in robot mode. Just like so. Alright, there we go. Alright, so yeah, here is Grimlock in robot mode, and he looks absolutely great. Pretty much perfect with the exception of the missing hand here, but even that is not a huge deal. They just got his proportions really nicely done. He is super bulky. The paintwork again is absolutely fantastic. The way he picks up the light just shows off all those different curves and little bits and bobs of metal here and there. And I'll try and just zoom in here and get a look at his head or his face. Let's just go ahead and lift this up. So you can see really nice paintwork on his eyes. He's got his eyes picked out in red there. His head is on a ball joint, so you can get that moved around very nicely. He can't really look up too much, but he can look down like a champion, which is cool. And he is quite large as well. So, hold on one second. Let's go ahead and get this guy back up again. He does have some arm swivel here. The horns of the T-Rex do get in the way, but you can just kind of move this out of the way if you want to get that arm up even more. This one can't really do too much about, but they are rubbery, so they do move out of the way. I just don't want to move them too much. Arms can go out to the side about that much. They are also a little bit blocked just by the bits of the shoulder armor. He does have a bicep swivel and an elbow joint as well. Both sides. He does have a waist swivel, which is really nice. Just like that. The legs are nicely ratcheted. They can go up. You can move that hip skirt out of the way, and legs can go up about that far. Then he does have kind of dual hinged knees. The knees are supposed to lock in. I didn't do that step. They do press in and then lock for that robot mode. So he doesn't quite have, you can unlock those to get double hinged knees. Otherwise his knees go about that far. And again, he does have the ball jointed feet for robot mode as well as dinosaur mode. But overall, he looks really good and very imposing, very impressive. I love the paint work on him. I just absolutely love it. I can't get over how much I love it. His fist is also on a swivel on that wrist, so just in case you were wondering that. And we'll go ahead and turn him around so you can see how nice and clean this robot mode is, in case you missed it before. That is a nice, clean robot mode. Yes, the Dino mode does have some weird stuff going on, and yes, arguably the Dino mode should be the more highly prioritized mode for a character that spent most of his, 5 minutes of screen time in dinosaur mode, but I really do like this robot mode, so I'm willing to kind of forgive that. And again, if somebody figures out how to upscale this thing and kind of work out some of those weird issues with the Dino mode, all the better. So, quick size comparisons here. He is with Leader Blackout. So you can kind of see that he is very large compared to Leader Blackout. There you go. Excuse me, Blackout. Here he is with MPM Prime. Prime is still just a little bit taller, yeah, so that is kind of a shame. Again, if we get an upscaled version, that would solve that for sure. But I really do like the way these guys look together. Just because just the fit and finish on this is so well done. It really is, in my opinion, up there with masterpiece quality. I think they did a really, really spectacular job, and I am pleased as punch. Now, he does also come with a little backdrop situation here, and you can just stand him right there, and now he's in front of a fiery, burning building, if that's, your cup of tea, and that's fine. That's cool. No worries with that. There we go. Shoulders are getting a little bit wonky here, but overall, super well done job here. Again, just like Blackout, not perfect, but really, really well done. And I'm very pleased. I think it's well worth the asking price for this figure. He's really, really nice done, really big. The articulation is there. The paintwork is absolutely great. And I think you could do a lot worse than picking this guy up if you see him at retail. And I've seen him in multiple stores now, so he should be trickling out. You should be able to get him without too much trouble. And I highly suggest that you do, because he is really, really well done. So that is going to do it for this review, guys. I want to thank you so very much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. It really does help me out. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be back with more Transformers in the future, so stick around in the meantime. Thanks again for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye for now.